Spanish Arch. The history of this place goes back to pre-medieval times. It was built in 1584. But it is an extension of the city wall that the Normans built here, Vikings who lived here, and it was constructed in the 12th century. Where did this name come from? Well, it is believed that because in those days, trade between Ireland and Spain was on high level, and here right next to it, where there is a river and a port, Spanish galleons docked here. This episode is proudly sponsored by Premium Point Auto Detailing Studio in Galway. You can watch this episode, among others, thanks to the transport company SpeedPack. You are all welcome to their website www.speedpack.com.pl, where you can check their offer. They take care of sending parcels and moving from Poland to Ireland and of course vice versa. I recommend them. In 1755 Spanish Arch and nearby buildings were destroyed by tsunami. It was caused by the huge earthquake, which took place in Portugal. It almost completely destroyed Lisbon. Tsunami waves were 20 meters high, and they reached all European coasts as well as North Africa. It started at 9:40 am, and it was as high as 9th on the Richter scale. There is the fact that from then, people started work on seismology. In 1477 the town was visited by Christopher Columbus. It's very possible that the Vikings learned of the far unknown lands to the west from Irish sailors. It was so that they already lived in Iceland at that time. But at some point they ran out of food, and decided to seek other lands further to the west. First they reached Greenland. Then they established a settlement in Newfoundland. And then they also appeared on the mainland, in today's Canadian lands. So did Christopher Columbus come here to find out more about it? I suspect I just discovered America. The specific location of the city, emphasis on tourism and the universities located here, makes that Galway can be crowded with visitors, who are impressed by its unique atmosphere. Youth and not only youth enjoy the weather here, when the sun gives them its warmth. Salt Hill area, and some others invite everyone to their sandy beaches, and the bay of the Atlantic Ocean, where you can find many other, very interesting attractions. People do great things near their homes. This is the Long Walk, the street with the buildings painted in many colors, which creates a lovely mosaic. It is such a representative point of the town, which you can see in many pictures. Lynch's Castle. A very prominent and wealthy Lynch family lived here. It was built in the 14th century. There is an interesting story connected with it. Well, a certain James Lynch hanged his own son for murdering a Spanish sailor. That was the name, Lynch, which was the source of the word lynching. Generally, castles in Ireland and other old buildings, of which there are a lot here, are a very important part of the landscape and, of course, history. And now I will show you a few examples from the area. Cathedral in Galway. A very interesting building in terms of architecture. It is located on one of the islands, named Noon's Island. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the center of Galway lies on many islands. It is an interesting fact that it was built on the site where there used to be a prison. Mainly political prisoners were placed there. When Ireland gained independence, it was decided that it would no longer be needed. And such a spectacular building was constructed here. Corrib River, which flows from the lake of the same name. Its stream is just deadly sometimes, and when it's just like now, you can often see fishermen here. A cruise on these boats behind me is a recommendable attraction. Corib Princess. It sails through the Corib River and then into the lake, which is famous for hundreds of different islands.
The original castle on the site here was because another large lake in Mayo Loch Mask drains into the Corib as well via natural underground tunnels in the limestone. And speaking of limestone,
Due to the fact that Galway is located on many islands, you can find many channels and rivers here, where you can practice canoeing. The canoeists from here achieve international success sometimes. Horse Racing Festival. There are about 400 places in the city and its nearby, where you can stay, from 5-star hotels to B&B and nice hostels. Galway is an ideal starting point to visit places where nature is just crazy. I'm talking about the cliffs of Moher, the mountains of Connemara, and the nearby Aran Islands. It is impossible not to mention the countless number of pubs here, which are a part of Irish culture. In this town, just like I say, there are infinitely many of them. So many kinds of bars and restaurants from all sides of the world. And they're not fakes, because food is prepared by indigenous inhabitants of those countries. The city of Galway was founded in the 13th century. Although sooner there was a defensive fort and a fishing settlement here. It took its name from the river Gallia, which means rocky river. Today that river's name is Corrib. And the Irish word Gallia is still used as a name of the town. It's also called City of Tribes, because when the Normans were here, 14 merchant families ruled it. Laid on the west coast of Ireland, exactly on Midwest. It's the capital of the historical province of Connacht, which, a long time ago, up to the 9th century, was an independent kingdom. Galway has a very rich history, and many interesting legends tell us about it. One of them is about the Claddagh ring, famous all over the world, which comes from here. It shows two hands holding a heart together, with a crown above it. It symbolizes love, friendship and loyalty. It is accompanied by a certain sentence, "Let love and friendship reign forever." There are several legends associated with it, and the most famous and considered close to the truth, is a story about a goldsmith, who was hijacked by pirates while transporting his goods on a ship. He was sold to the slavery of the ruler of Algeria. There, still working in his profession, designed this ring for the lost love left in Ireland. Finally, he befriended the king for whom he served and he gave him freedom, even offering him a part of his fortune, if he will stay in Algeria. A man who missed his homeland and his true love so much, came back to his country, where he could personally give the Claddagh ring to the woman of his life. The Claddagh name comes from a small fishing village, which was located on the premises of the current city. In 1934 the city authorities removed authentic thatched houses from there, which were commonly inhabited by the locals. Even today, you can find such houses here which are still inhabited. They are the voice and illustration of distant history. This type of building is called a quadrangle. It was built in the mid-19th century. When it opened its door for the first time, 68 students started to study here. Now there are 18,000 of them, including 3,000 from 115 different countries. But for real 18,000, I'm in shock, in a great shock. At first it was called Queen's College. It was one of 3 such universities. Located in Cork, Dublin and here in Galway. At the start, there was only this building, but of course, the university has grown a lot and there are many more buildings today. Plenty of buildings, and you can find here such types of studies like video filming, new technology, history, geology, sociology. Of course there also must be biology, music and also botany, archaeology, geography, philosophy and physics, it's fact, engineering, English, other languages. It wouldn't work without math, and of course, many subtypes. So I think there is a lot to choose from. 2,500 people work here. It's like corporation. To walk around it is unbelievable, man. A lot of kilometers. If we talk about new technologies, robotics is quite well developed here. I know because I was on open days. And it made a great impression on me. Just next to here they have a really awesome park.